Okay, so I was kind of reading a little bit about you,
Mhm.
and I wanted to give our viewers a little bit about your history. And you kind of touched base about this a little
Mhm.
while just before. So you said you started at 15,
Mhm.
summer job. I believe it was a job you got through your uncle.
That's right. My uncle on my mother's side was a geologist, and I asked him to get me a summer job. He said, "Oh, sure, sure." He said, "Indians and half breeds do really well in mining exploration." Years later, I thought, "You'd never get away with saying that now." I said to him, and he looked at me like I was an idiot, and and he listed off my assets, the fact that I absolutely love this industry, that I wouldn't do anything else. And he said, "Well, obviously I'm right." And obviously he
He
was.
was.
One of my mentors, is Jerry Asp, is a Teltown, has been in the industry since his teens as well, and had done very well at it. We mentioned KMAW. He was one of the founders of KMAW,
Mm.
Canadian Aboriginal Minerals Association. Um, so there are a lot of First Nations and other Indigenous people that work in our industry, particularly exploration.
Hmm.
Although the Upper Similkameen, many of them are actual
Miners.
work in mines. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so you fell in love
Mm-hmm.
with mining
Mm-hmm.
and geology and
Mm-hmm.
prospecting. What was it that made you fall in love with it?
Well, it's very independent when you're prospecting. Even if you're prospecting for a company, you're on your own. You have a partner with you, but there's nobody standing over you. It appeals to independent people that like to work their own hours and do their own thing, which usually means you work longer hours than you would if you were working for a company directly. It's like being a detective. There's little hints that you might be on something, and in the porphyry copper exploration, like I'm involved in, alteration, the way the minerals have changed and been altered by heat and by hot fluids, uh, is so important that a lot of times it's more important than actually finding the copper, because if the alteration is right, you'll find the copper and you can get size. But if the alteration isn't right, you might find some copper and it won't be size. So it's quite fascinating, and even the scoundrels in my industry are interesting. Like they're charismatic and funny and
Well, you've been to you go to the keg, and
yes,
I've been there a couple times. I played in the hockey
yeah.
tournament, and it's quite a swath of people. There are
Yeah,
some characters.
yeah, but it's hardly fair because it's Kamloops against the coast, and they have Jeremy Marlowe, a prospector, who's a fantastic hockey player.
um, okay, and I want to know the difficulties in your field.
Well, it's boom and bust. We're in a bust stage now.
Hmm.
This has actually been going on and off since 2008, the financial crisis.
Hmm.
In my career, I've never seen such a long lack of interest in exploration. But the cycle will come up again. Uh, so it's not a good job. You're out in the field, you're away from home. It's boom and bust.
Hmm.
But at the same time, as a lifestyle, it couldn't be beat. I don't think. I think it's the most wonderful field of work to be in.
Is there something in particular that you feel is an, an aspect of your job that just makes you feel like this is it. This is what you're going to do and will continue to do and will want other people to do.
Well, the excitement of the discovery, and when it's booming, it's really exciting. Uh, but it's the people. Like it's a great class of people to work with. They're very varied, very different. Um, in many ways, Sean and I are very, very, very different. So you have to be independent. Uh, every geologist and prospector I've met becomes a prima donna after about 3 years, in that you become forceful about your opinion, but you're always sharing it and learning from each other. Um, it's uh, it's a wonderful way of life. The people are incredible. Even in the down period, we spend time together, and we still keep learning. It, the we don't know a lot about how geology works. We're still learning. There's new ideas coming up every year.